He's called the shepherd of Israel in the Old Testament. He was king. He didn't know those people. And I don't know most of your names. There are 4,400 people who came to Bethlehem last Sunday and Saturday. Can I shepherd people I don't know by name? I can. Not in the fullness of the way you have to be shepherded biblically. But I can do this little piece. And then there are all kinds of classes. And then there are all kinds of ministries. And then there are all kinds of spontaneous friendships that happen. And then there are the small groups. And then there's Sunday school. There's all kinds of ways that shepherding happens. But we work hard to make the small group ministry an organic flow from the elders who have to give an account for you down to the people. So I was thinking, what shall I preach on in that regard? And I thought, this text does that too. This text is about that too. And I hope you will hear it that way. Small groups have always been, along with big services, the key to shepherding. Always. It's not a new creation. Al referred to the first Pentecost as being a multi-language event. It was also the beginning of small groups. 3,000 people were converted that day, and it says added to the church in Jerusalem. Wow. You got 12 apostles. Actually, you got 11, and then one got added later. They quick had to create some other groups because they were really wrecking it with the widows. Everything was a mess. It'll always be a mess in the church. But they were working on it. What did they do? It says they met from house to house to break bread. That's what they did. They split it up. And that's what we're trying to do. It's nothing new. It's nothing fancy. We don't have any fancy names for them. Small group, that's really uncreative. Shepherd group, it says. That's a little better. I'm sure you could come up with a really fancy name. So that'd be fine. Let's go to chapter 13, verse 34. I'm only going to focus on one verse. Chapter 13 of the Gospel of John. This is to whet your taste for the beginning of the series back at chapter 1 next time, Lord willing. Chapter 13, verse 34. Jesus said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you, that you also are to love one another." There are a lot of glorious things in the text that was read. We're just focusing right here. And I have one question. What's new about the new commandment? A new commandment I give you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you, that you also are to love one another. And my question is simply, what's new? My prayer as we take the next minutes together to dig into the context, my prayer is that we as a church would hear Jesus talking and not John Piper. This is Jesus. I command you, Bethlehem. Jesus Christ is talking. I command you. Not a comfortable word for a lot of people. Command. That's his word. I command you, love each other. Just listen to Jesus. This is not my idea. This is his commandment. So that's my prayer, is that as I talk, he would have his say. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also love one another. If you're a follower of Jesus, that is a Christian, that is born again, that is, a child of God. If you are that, you are a person under authority. Your life is constrained and guided by commandments from an absolute authority. That one of your self-consciousnesses, one of your self-identities should be, I'm not my own. I am a commanded person by the one who has the right to command all beings everywhere. And I am under Him, and my life is lived under authority. A new commandment I give to you. Jesus is more than the master of your life, but He's not less. He comes to you with more than commandments, but not less. We are a people under authority. And what He wills when He commands is centrally love each other. That's His command. Love each other. A new commandment I give you. I come to you with authority. I'm the Son of God. And I'm telling you, you don't like somebody in this church? Love those people the way I loved. That's His command. This is not an option. You don't go home tonight and say, I'm going to wait for another sermon, one that I would find easier. Christians have no option. We are people under authority, and the command is love each other. So my question, what's new about the command to love each other? Because He calls it a new commandment. And my answer is that there are two things that are new about Jesus' commandment to love each other. And the second half of the verse contains both of them. What that verse says in the second half is, just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. So the newness of the command is found in the words, as I have loved you. Now, what are the two things that make the command new in those words? Let me put a little phrase on them, and then we'll unpack them. The commandment to love each other is new in the mouth of Jesus because it is a command to live out the love of Jesus. Nobody in the Old Testament was commanded, live out the love of Jesus. He wasn't even there. But now He's here, and He's living it out, and He says, love like that. Live out, love out my love. Secondly, this will be a little harder to see, but I'll show it to you, and you'll see it. The commandment to love each other in the mouth of Jesus is new in that He says, live on the love of Jesus. Live out the love of Jesus and live on the love of Jesus. Now, you'll see it. You may look at it and say, I don't see that. But you will. Let's take those one at a time. If you like P's or letters that begin words the same, the first one you could call, it's new because the pattern is new, and the second one is new because the power is new. Pattern and power. If that helps. So let's go with the pattern first. Living out the love of Jesus. Living out the love of Jesus. The basis for this is found in the wider context of the chapter. What I do when I'm trying to answer questions like I'm asking here, what's new, is I just start reading out like this. Let's go in concentric circles right out from my text, backwards and forwards, looking for answers to my questions. I don't jump to Genesis, Psalms, as gloriously true as they are. I want right here, is there something nearby that answers the question, what do you mean as you loved us? and you don't have to go